G'day, hi, and welcome. No, that's not a gigantic spider. That's just the legs from the from the tripod. So, here's a glue. All right, g'day, hi, and welcome. And today I got an interesting video for you. What I have is my SM57, Shure SM57, very industry standard, legendary mic. And then, of course, probably the most popular mic in the world in human history, the Sm58, legendary industry standard Shure mic. Yes, that is rust on that. This mic, I've had it a long time. This is my second Sm57. A lot of work on that one. Okay, so today's video is about microphones for sure, and recording, and stuff like that. So I don't think I need to explain to too many people the difference between these two mics, but the short of it is, this is omnidirectional mic. This is a cardioid mic, which basically, you think of it as a unidirectional mic. It catches everything this way and almost nothing from behind it. Where this, you could pretty much sing on the sides like this, here, front of it. It doesn't matter. The pattern will kind of just catch everything. My mics are trying to run away on me. So back in 2003, I bought that SM58 on the left there. And last year or the year before, I can't remember what year it was, I bought the SM57 on the right. And for people that don't know microphones, this is a great place to start for a lot of reasons. So you got, if you're thinking more live playing and for singing, obviously the SM58 is the legendary. And yes, I've got tons of experience with these mics because pretty much every bar in the world, that's what they have on stage. It's not the cheapest of mics. That's the funny part. It's the most popular. It's just, everybody knows what it is. It's the Harley Davidson, McDonald's, of the microphone world. Like, it's just, everybody knows it, right? It's many albums have been recorded with them, many live shows, whatever. And then to the right there is the SM57, which, if you're thinking more of, say, you got acoustic guitars you want a mic, the SM57, just to answer the question before somebody asks it, it's not great for vocals at all, live or in the studio. Can you do it? Yes, but you're probably not going to be happy with the results. But if you want like an acoustic guitar, it's much quieter than the SM57, and it's much more focused in. If you want a guitar amp, you can, definitely guitar bass amps, perfect for that live. I've been mic'd through the SM57 on stage many times over the years. Quite legendary. Again, maybe not the best thing, but well known. And then, of course, if you're doing things like, say, drums, you can mic drums with the SM57. Again, many drum kits have been mic'd up. I've seen some drum kits with 10 of these things on it, right? It's just, everybody knows what these two things do, right? But there's a problem. And this happens when, getting into recording, okay? A lot of people are like, how do I get into recording on the cheap? And a lot of people are thinking, can I get into recording for, say, like under $200? Very rarely you can. And if you can, you're probably not going to get very much for the money. Furnace kicked in. So the thing is that, just to start, okay, we're going to get to the microphone in a second, but when you're starting out and you want to get into recording, mics are something you're going to need, right? So most people will buy this dynamic duo right here if they can afford two mics. If they can only afford one, they'll probably just get the SM58 and just try to live with it, which I've done for years for recording and stuff like that. Now, what happens is, depending on what you're recording with, I'm assuming you already have your own computer. If you're watching this, you probably do. If not, you have to get a computer. So people say, well, you need, like, say, Logic Pro and, get yourself a Mac, a MacBook, right? Well, right away, if you say Mac anything, you're starting $1,300 to $1,800 just to get into a Mac to start. So right there, you're almost over $2,000 just starting. I'm talking Canadian dollars, of course, and the States would be like $50, right? But the point is that then you got to get an audio interface, then you got to get. And you're a long way from the mics, and you even got to get cables for the mics and, all that kind of stuff, right? So getting into home recording is not cheap. It's a long, expensive investment, but it's even more expensive if you have to do trial and error. Now, I didn't do trial and error here. I actually wanted these mics. Most people do because just the legendary, again, it's the big twin in the Sportster, right? So it's for the Harley Davidson equivalent. But it's not the Ninja. It's not the Ducati. These are, they're workhorses. They're, again, very, very legendary. But the problem with the SM58, for example, on stage is it is a bit of an anemic mic. Like it will do the job. You will be picked up. You will sound good, but it doesn't have the clarity in the low end of some other mics that you might even be half the price. I don't want to name any mics because I don't have enough experience with those mics, but from what I've heard, there was a guy who had a $70 mic and it sounded great. But then there's other mics out there that are much more expensive. So what I say is get some staple mics like this, and then as you build your microphone arsenal, try not to do too much trial and error. Do your research. I mean, if it was 1995 again, and I had to buy a mic for the band, I would just pick one of these two. Because everybody knows what they are, and we know they work, and they're reliable. Like I say, the SM58 here is from 2003. It's been on stage a few times. It's paid for itself. The mic stand at the time, I mean, this is 2003 prices. The mic stand, and how long is the cable I have? I think the cable I have is 25 feet. It's 20 or 25 feet, the XLR cable. Came up to about $180 back then, Canadian. Same mic now is, I don't know, quite a bit. This SM57 was, I ordered a cable with it too, and a mic stand, and it all came up to about $240. So this is like we'll say between 2020 and 2022 prices, Canadian. From the making of this video. So they haven't really went up that much in price. So I know these things will work on stage. I know they will work in the studio, whatever. Now it goes to what are you recording through and how good can the machine you use. For example, I use a 2006 BR1200, and the BR1200 is amazing technology for its times, but it's getting kind of dated now. And what I'm finding is that when I'm doing my vocals, the SM57 obviously can't do the vocals the way I want to do the vocals. And the SM58 is a little bit lacking. It's just not the right mic. I can use it. I'll get sounds out of it. It'll do the job. It gets the job done, but it's not going to win any awards, right? And I'm looking for my next mic for the vocals. I'm looking for a studio mic now, which is going to be probably a ribbon mic of some sort. God help me on the price on that. Just to be able to get the sounds I need, the clarity I need, the response I need, and more importantly, the output range that I need to actually sound like I'm not singing, not so much singing in a tunnel. I don't want to say that. It's not that bad. But singing with no bottom end in it kind of thing. Like you just can't seem to EQ that in after. So it just doesn't have it to begin with, right? For what I'm looking for. It doesn't sound tinny or bad or anything like that. It's not like a dollar store mic. But it's not giving me like the professional sound I would really, really like to have. And I know that my BR1200 in certain modes is as good as the equipment you put in there. It's no different than using Pro Tools or Logic Pro or whatever audio interface and DAW system that's out there on the market. It's basically a portable studio, right? So I'm sure, if you put the science to it and frequency responses, yeah, it might have some limitations up to the newer equipment. But again, if I have a $4,000 studio mic and I'm in a professional studio and I'm using my BR1200, it's going to produce me some pretty good results. Maybe not as good as results as better recording consoles, but it will do as good as it can do, as well as the mic can do to a degree. And this is where my next microphone is going to have to come from. It's going to have to come from research into it, because one thing I didn't have in 1995, 92, 95 when I bought my first recording systems, which was a Tascam Porta Studio 4, which was a tape cassette, 4-channel. It was 4-channel, and you could not produce anything good on that, no matter how hard you tried. It didn't work well live. It didn't work well with my first Sm57 or Sm58. It was just you could get ideas down, but to get a good sound out of it, like it just really didn't work. But it was a fun toy. Get ideas down. But people now, they expect a lot more out of their productions, right? And my BR1200 is getting okay productions. I need to spend a little bit more time, but again, without sound treatment in the room, I pretty much have to use